But according to has been recently you know, been exposed to the general public. I think there was a concerted effort on the behalf of the government, the administration in the United States. And where it stands is this, a thing that the Supreme Court has came down. I don't know if it's the recent, if there's any recent after that. But the Supreme Court has come down when it comes to the Omicron and mandatory vaccine to say, well, the Omicron, because of its mildness, 10 times, even they claim, milder than the last Delta. It makes a mandatory vaccine obsolete because one cannot differentiate what Omicron, the effects of Omicron and an ordinary flu. I stand to be corrected with that information, but that is what I saw in an interview with a lawyer that probably was on the case, that made the case towards the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court agreed with. So that is where we stand in terms of mandatory vaccine in the United States. Like I say, I stand to be corrected. If there's any new information that comes out, if you're privy to it, feel free to correct me. But having the United States not being able to mandate the vaccine, I think other nations will follow suit if other nations contemplated on mandatory vaccine, because they are following the science, and there are three studies that came out of Germany, I think it's Denmark and Canada, respectively, that is even telling you about these things, and even all persons are transmitting, vaccine and non-vaccine, vaccinated and non-vaccinated, are transmitting it. In fact, the figures are more so with the vaccinated persons that has the likelihood of transmitting the Omicron.
Mm-hmm, right. So, in all of that, do you have any comments or any words for the teachers and students returning to school today?
Yes. In this technological age and in this age of education, because, we are into a new age. We are not into the age of emotions anymore. We are into the age of information. Yeah. And so we need to really pool our resources, our, collectiveness, and concentrate on giving our children the tools to compete in here and going forward. So I wish the teachers and all the students well. I wish that we can get it, and really, like the last caller said there, that it wouldn't be no excuse why our children has not excelled and be at the threshold of competitiveness. So we want our children to don't be hindered by, things that we know it's going to be here with us for quite a while. And, we are somewhat procrastinating in terms of trusting our youth forward, giving them the tools, the necessary tools to compete on a global scale. So I wish all the teachers and all the students well. I hope they will settle down, because it's been so much disruption, and we hope that they will settle down. I shall call back in later on, following up on the Inside the News program and your topic at hand with the Inside the News. I think I have some information that I wish to bring to the general public. Hey, we have taxi drivers. We are saying, okay, this is what it is.
Right.
This is what it is.
Right. Well, thank you so. Yeah, and
okay?
thank you so much for your contribution to this program.
Call back in after this.
Yes, thank you so much for your contribution to this program. You're listening to Voices on WinFM 98.9. It is 19 minutes past the hour. We'll take this break to give a shout out to our sponsors, and when we come back, we'll continue Voices here on WinFM 98.9. Stay tuned, and we will be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Buying your medication is easy with City Drug Stores curbside pickup. WhatsApp our certified pharmacist at 662-8769 with your requests. For prescriptions, take a clear photograph and send for review. We will engage you in dialogue and then provide a quotation and link for payment. You can then pay via TDC's online payment portal. And once the transaction is complete, you'll be notified that your pickup is ready. Yes, it's that easy. Send your WhatsApp message to 662-8769 to order your medications today with City Drug Stores curbside pickup service.
Decided what to eat yet, hon?
Yep, almost.
If only this was easy like when we switched to Flow.
Best decision ever. Combining our mobile with Flow Internet
Saving hundreds each month on our mobile.
and getting double data to share for up to 4 lines. My ideas are the best.
Any idea when you'll make this decision?
Yeah, soon. Switch to Flow Postpaid and sign up for internet for big mobile savings and double data as low as $80 per line. Visit discoverflow.co for details. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to Voices. We have a caller on the line. Let's take this call. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning. What's up?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Oh, boy, I'm here. Just listen to all the news about this COVID. The information you're getting is so conflicting. The pros and the cons. I think I heard in the last COVID meeting, I have it on my phone, so I'll just play it back, that the test can differentiate between the flu and the COVID. But then somebody sent me something here. You know, you have to be very careful with some of these things that you get because people have the way of twisting. They can get in the ear and put your picture up and say things that you didn't say. And the impression I got from that post is that as long as you got the flu, it's the COVID. Mm-hmm. You know, I really don't know. I'm so confused, and it's very difficult for me to say that I'm going to just stay away from the internet and don't read anything because I like to read a lot. Anything that comes to me, I read, and I decide whether I believe or I don't believe. But I know one individual who's supposed to be, who's vaccinated. They didn't tell me whether he had the booster shot or what, and he got the COVID. He got the COVID twice. I mean, so what is the real truth about this COVID? I mean, you know. And then somebody sent me something about 3 deaths. Like I said already, I am just saying 3 deaths. I believe a lot of people would have gotten it because it's one person who I think is fairly reliable. I got this the stats from them. So, you know, we just don't know what's happening, man. It is really, I mean, can we allow the COVID to keep us from going out and working and so forth? Because this country can't take another lockdown. We can't take another SARS like the one before the Omicron. So what do we do? I believe that people just have to follow protocol, wash your hands, because I think I'm doing okay for the time being. If I go to the shop, I try to go shop very early in the morning, at the supermarket, and I try to stay away from crowds, wash your hands when I come back, I try to do that, wear my mask. So far, I think I'm doing okay. But it is really fun. We can't lock down the schools. we just can't lock in the schools. I mean, you know, it's difficult. I think the government and all those people who are dealing with the COVID is having a hard time making decisions. But like I said, I can't stop myself from going on the internet and reading some of the stuff. That I myself had me one shot, and I don't even too sure if I want to go back for the second shot based on what is happening. But it's a hard choice, a hard decision for the government to make.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, caller, for your contribution to this program. We're still taking your calls here on Voices on 1FM 98.9. Caller, as you made those comments, I'm trying to find some information here to see if I can perhaps provide some clarity. But before I do that, let's take this other caller on the line. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Devon. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing fine, thanks.
How was your weekend?
It was all right. It was very restful.
Anyway, make some time for God still, eh?
Yes. I went to church on Sunday.
Yeah, that's good. I got to make sure that you don't let them pull you out of the faith, you know. Because I'll have with the candle and the bread. Anyway, let me first start by sending some birthday greetings to my brother-in-law in Antigua, Pastor John Attil. Today is his birthday, my husband's brother. Okay. But in Antigua, you know, my husband's brother, John Attil, is a pastor. Tell him my sister-in-law Sylvie say, happy birthday. Now I want to answer Jackson. And Jackson have a message to tell Mary, I said, Mary Family Association, please call me on my house phone. Now, the issue with the high schools and the Cotton Thomas has to do with the ability to space out the children.
Ah, okay. I know it was something along that lines. Okay.
Now, Jackson should know that the classes in the high schools, because I taught high school, are usually large. Not only are they large, but when they move into, you know, the temporary thing, as they call it, it is not as spacious as some of the old classes, some not all. So in order to space out the children, half go and half stay home. So fifth form might have 2 classes, but for each class, they divide it into 2. So one set go in the morning and one set go in the afternoon. So they go by shift.
Mm-hmm. So it's a matter of proper social distancing.
Spacing.
Yeah, okay.
You know, the same thing for the Cotton Thomas.
Right,
you have
right.
different able children. The room may be big, but some of them might be difficult to control them. You know, just to maintain social distance.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, they limit the number. So they also go on shift. So you won't have too many children or young people in the same room. And in terms, we shouldn't be giving thanks, you know. You know, we really should be giving thanks that the children are able to go back today. When you listen to the news in the Caribbean, Jamaica and some of the other places, some children have not been to school, you know. And in Jamaica, it's even worse because through their being out for so long, a number of the 4th form and the 5th form children have not returned to school.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to, I think it was TVJ News who categorized it or dubbed it as a educational calamity in Jamaica because students have not been able to return to the physical classroom for some time. And even if there were instances where they returned, it was really difficult because everybody had COVID.
I'm telling
you,
it
was hard for school to continue.
That is what I said. Sometimes we're not grateful for the things we have. You know, many schools in nearby countries here, of course, it affects the children. But at least our children are able to write CXC in large numbers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't necessarily agree and say that we're not grateful for our situation, but each country has a different COVID-19 situation, and of course,
yeah, but when you compare, remember, you have to compare yours against somebody else.
Yes, but
that is where the gratefulness. Ours may be bad, eh? You know, they got good, bad, worst. So this is what I'm saying. sometimes we got to learn to be grateful.
Right. Okay. Do you have
Or the
any
children
comments
get
for
to
the?
interact.
Do you have any
with
comments for the teachers, students? Any best wishes for them?
No, I would say to the teachers, number one, they should first protect themselves. Whether with a mask or with the vaccine. And they owe it a duty to the parents to ensure that the children keep on the mask. Now, I guess you know the children are allowed to go outside at any time they wish to get a breath of fresh air. You know that?
Yes, they can.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, so that they don't really have to have it on all day. If the child feels like you start with it does get up, ask, maybe put up your finger and go outside. And break time when they spread out, they don't have to put them on. So I say that the duty now falls on the teacher. If a child is in the class and you see the child knows running and so, it is the teacher's duty, since the child is already at school, to try and get the child isolated until it is picked up.
Well, quickly, we want to take some more calls, and I want to get something
All right,
over
then.
before we wrap up. So there was a caller who called about the. You said you came across some information about the COVID-19 and flu. So I just wanted to see if I could provide some clarity on that. So the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws, during the presentation, the COVID-19 situation report, and this was last week, January 20th. The January 20th was, hold on, let me pull up my calendar just to make sure. January 20th was a Thursday. Yes, it was a Thursday. So it was the day before when they had the COVID-19 press briefing on the Wednesday. Okay. So the Chief Medical Officer during the presentation of the COVID-19 situation report shed some light on the coronavirus variant Omicron and the effects it could possibly have on the human body. She also used the opportunity to address the situation where persons in the community experiencing flu-like symptoms diagnose themselves with just a simple flu. According to Dr. Laws, quote, a number of persons currently are experiencing COVID-like or flu-like symptoms, and these symptoms include feelings of fatigue or malaise or weakness. Some are experiencing chills, feeling extremely cold when everyone else around them feels normal. Some complain of fever, lower back pain, general joint pain, muscle aches, come to complain of sore throat, stuffiness, runny nose, sneezing, coughing, and pain behind the eye. The only flu that's going around right now in the Federation is COVID. That's what the CMO said. So if you are experiencing flu-like or COVID-like symptoms, you are probably or more than likely experiencing or you are affected by COVID-19. Persons experiencing COVID-like symptoms are required to self-isolate until recovered. The Chief Medical Officer reported that most persons recover between 7 to 10 days. She, however, urged persons who are not recovering as expected to seek medical assistance. Meanwhile, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, during the question and answer segment, denounced the idea of false negative results being returned following a PCR test. Now, that response followed a question where someone was saying that a friend of theirs had COVID-like symptoms or flu-like symptoms. All the symptoms that I just listed before, that person had those symptoms, along with, I think, their child. They went to get tested, and when the test came back, the test said that they were negative for COVID-19. However, they had all these symptoms. Dr. Wilkinson said the PCR test is highly sensitive, which means that if you have the if you have the coronavirus multiplying in your nostrils, then the sample is taken. It will pick it up even if you have a very low viral threshold. It is also highly specific, which means that once you're told you have COVID, you do have COVID, based on a positive test. However, I have seen before that a positive test is as good as the time it was taken. And so, you could come now, have a test, and test negative, and you're truly negative, and you can leave this room, go outside, pick up the virus, and come now with symptoms sometime later. So just because you tested negative doesn't necessarily mean that you have to drop your guard. In addition, Dr. Wilkinson said, though the predominant virus responsible for the flu-like symptoms is COVID-19, someone can still have the flu. He also explained that the flu is caused by an influenza-type virus, and a person can do testing for that. In contrast, COVID-19 is caused by the coronavirus, and a PCR test is used to detect it. In this regard, if individuals test positive for the PCR test, he or she has the coronavirus and not the flu. So if you are experiencing flu-like symptoms and you test following a PCR test, Dr. Wilkinson is saying that you have the coronavirus and not the flu. Let's head back to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. I'm here thinking, I think y'all were talking about school, classroom.
Yes.
I'm thinking y'all have the ideal weather down there. Why not keep classes outside? Because I was watching something on Sunday, and I don't know if it's a state here in America, I forget, but the kids have class outside, and they have on no mask, and they're in the snow. The classroom all year round is outside. They're not inside, but they study nature.